Empty the chamber on them. And how do you do that? We're 6 seconds, point A to point B, everything you got. Everything you got. Turn that shit up. Let's go.
Welcome to Scoop World Order. It is Wednesday. We are grinding along. It is a double header. We have Brandon Moses coming in, batting cleanup, ready to rock. We're going to get his thoughts on the game, the Indiana game that a lot of people are ready to flush down the toilet. The Youngstown State game beckons on Saturday. It's going to be a 1AA opponent. I think that we're going to see some fury out of the Buckeyes. I think we better. So we got a 2-game slide here to get ready for South Bend and Marcus Freeman. So we're going to see a lot out of the Buckeyes. We're going to hopefully see more effort, more toughness, more everything. Defense was fantastic, but I think that this offense can really take a big step. But with that being said, as always, we're really appreciative of you guys. Thank you for leaving that like, click subscribe. Also click that little alert bell. It always lets you guys know when we're going live. Shout out where you guys are watching from. As always, I saw Akron, I saw Ironton, I saw Cleveland, I saw Naples, I saw Texas, California, all over the place. Appreciate you guys. Global people watching the show. Appreciate that as well. And I want to see, what do you think we need to improve on it? Put that down in the comments. Is it the O-line? Is it the receivers? Is it the throw game? Is it the quarterback play? Write that down in the comments. But without further ado, I have to get right to my man, Brandon Moses, a.k.a. B. Moses. B. Moses, how are you today, brother?
I am okay. It's a Wednesday, a little overcast. I'm still annoyed from the game and the takes and the reactions and all the craziness, just to keep it a buck with you. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm cool, man. I haven't talked about this publicly yet. I was, really soaking a lot of it in. And the first game of the season, I usually do that. I usually really step back and assess, because, I mean, we've all been waiting months to see the product on the field. And then when we see what we saw, you really want to step back. At least me personally, I don't like to fire off out of emotion and just say stuff that I might regret or just maybe goofy in the moment. So this is my first time speaking about this, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like a coaching mentality. Again, a lot of coaches give you emotional on the sideline, but a lot of them will be reserved and say, hey, let's watch the tape first before we go too high, too low, we're great, we suck. Like, I mean, it's kind of could be a mix of emotions. You might think you played great, you watch the tape and you got lucky, maybe guys fell down in the run game and you're able to break off some big ones, or did you have it schemed up, or if you felt like you played like trash and you watch the tape and you're like, oh, we were one block away or one missed assignment away or whatever from this thing being out of hand. Again, this game could have, I think, been dramatically more high scoring. Marvin runs out of bounds, on accident, and then all of a sudden, he catches a touchdown. I mean, there are some things that, if Marvin catches that ball, if Kyle McCord breaks to the right on the Q draw on the 5-yard line, you throw 2 more scores on the board and you're looking at 37-3, and I think people feel a lot better. But that's the game of football. It's a game of inches. Again, I think it's a very reactionary game. I think a lot of people sometimes have a little too much booze. I think too many people probably bet on Ohio State to cover, which they did not. And then that just incites the vitriol to a different level, something that a lot of people aren't used to, but I've lived it for a long time as a player and a coach. And I know that our fans get very passionate on game day. They get very drunk on game day. And we don't cover the spread, they get very angry on game day. A little bit more angry than they probably normally would be if it was just a normal football game. But what are some of your things that Ohio State surprised you with or you were disappointed in? Again, I think obviously the receiver production was shocking to me, that we had the 2 top receivers in the country get 34 yards combined. I think the lack of the cohesion in the offensive line wasn't a huge surprise to me, given how much of a rotation we had in training camp. But our guards playing as poorly as they did when they're supposed to be, we got a 6-year right guard and we got Donnie Jackson, who's a 3rd-year guy. He's on every preseason All-American team. They were terrible. And again, what I'm saying is not me being a hater. I root for Donnie more than anybody in the universe because he wears 74. He wears my jersey. So you have that little kinship going there. But, what I'm saying to Donnie, I'm sure Justin Fry said to him, I'm sure that Ryan Day said to him, it's not acceptable when you're a preseason All-American to play as poorly as he did to frankly play with as little power and to get bounced around as much as he did. And Donnie's a great kid. I mean, he is strong as an ox, fantastic athlete. But where are you at? I mean, again, you watched the game probably a couple times. Where are you at with it all, B. Moses?
Yeah, so I've watched the game an ungodly amount of times, TV copies, but also got my hands on the all 22,
There you
and
go.
also and watched your breakdown as well. I've literally been diving into this in many different ways over the past few days, and so there's frustration there, but there's also the relief that I know it sounds cliche, but this is all fixable. That relief. It's frustrating to see, especially from a guy like Donnie Jackson, who's a veteran, who we've seen play well, even against Georgia, the likes of Georgia, we've seen him play well. But to see the confusion and the lack of execution on the offensive line to me was probably the most frustrating out of anything I saw in that game. And that includes Kyle McCord, that includes whatever. It was the O line, seeing your breakdown, seeing other breakdowns, just watching the film, and then looking and finding out, oh, that was a scheme. Oh, they were supposed to block him. Oh, Stover was supposed to block him. And it's just like, why is there so much confusion, especially from our veterans? With that said, give Indiana credit. They had a whole offseason with a good D coordinator who was here last year. They got some good players. Indiana's not great, but they have some guys, and they did a good job of taking advantage of our mistakes. And so, you know, uh, I just want to see the improvement going into next week. Because here's the thing: people are going to say it's just Youngstown State. I know it's just Youngstown State, but on film, and Kirk, you can attest to this, just from film, if you can actually see your guy correcting a mistake, even if it is a little guy from Youngstown State, he actually hit his correct assignment. That's the key. Like, can you at least go where you're supposed to go? Even if it is Youngstown State, I want to see more cohesion with the line and awareness and understanding of your assignment. And so that was my biggest thing. But with all that said, that stuff is clearly coachable and fixable. So the sky is not falling like some people on Twitter are saying. I'll stop there for now, but I got more.
No, you're good. But again, it's like in any sport. I mean, if it's you're teaching a guy how to hit, and you have him instead of going against Greg Maddox or whoever, you have him take batting practice, and you see the corrections in his swing, in his stance. You see boxing. He doesn't have to be fighting Muhammad Ali or Floyd Mayweather. Like you could be fighting a tomato can. If you correct technique and you see the correct technique, then it can carry over to when they fight a real one, as opposed to, the same issues. Like, because Donnie's issues is 99% his hands. His hands are terrible. I think that for Josh Simmons, his awareness is terrible. He doesn't play with any power. I don't know if we have any nasty guys on our offensive line, like nasty finisher guys. I didn't see any like nasty finishes. And again, like last year we had Luke Whippler. We had Paris was extremely nasty when he played. But I didn't see the nasty finishes that I'd expect versus a game like Indiana, where you put guys on the ground, finish them, put them in the dirt. So again, it's part temperament, it's part corrections, it's part a lot of technique. Like a guy like Donnie's hands can't be that bad. I mean, he can't just let guys get into his chest and push him around. When Donnie's strong as an ox, he's a 35 or 6, 225 bench guy, highest on the team. Probably squats near 600, probably a 4.9 40. So his tools are there. His ability is there. I mean, if you just put him in the draft today, he'd probably go in the second round just off of his tools. But his technique is not there. And that's something that, NFL coaches would say, I can work with that kid. I can fix him and get him ready. But, Donnie's got to be a butt kicker. I normally say the A word. I'm going to try to get demonetized on YouTube, but he's got to be a butt kicker. He can't just be absorbing blocks and some of us, Carson Hinsman, on some of those short side stretch plays. I mean, he's got to get rolling. I mean, when you got a 3 technique that short side, you got to get rolling. I mean, he's got to go take that linebacker that's running through, and you got to get on your horse. Nick Mangold used to love that play because you got to be a real one to go get there. You got to be a pound C, or you got to be like one of the real ones to go get there. It's a ballsy block. You got to have a lot of confidence, a lot of speed to get there, but it can be done. And if you push it all the way through and you get it done, there's a gaping hole on the backside versus that kind of stuff. So again, Carson, first career start. It was absolutely idiotic they didn't play at all last year. I think that, another thing is, like, at the end of this game, not playing the second O line for the last 3 plays when there's a minute 44 left, like, that was idiotic. But that's kind of like what we do. We don't run any backups in ever, so it's kind of silly. But what other thoughts did you have, B. Moses, as we kind of grind through this thing? Hopefully this is the last time I ever have to talk about this game again, because I'm ready to flush it down the toilet. But what are some of your other thoughts that you had from this Indiana game?
Yeah. So, well, real quick, and I'll get into that. I'll say this: watching the game, I did see some improvement in the second half from the O line. They weren't perfect, but they improved. Even Josh Simmons isolated, 1-on-1, because there was a lot of times he got help because we had a lot of heavy looks, 3 tight ends, 2 tight ends, whatever. So he had help a lot of times. But when he was isolated in the second half, I saw some plays where he actually, showed good technique, stoned his guy. That was encouraging. So there was even improvement in the second half from the O line. But I also wanted to say that, and I said this to my guy during the game plan seemed very fall practicey. It seemed very, let's work on this stuff. Let's work on this against Indiana, against an overmatched opponent on the road, and see what we can do. I mean, that's basically what it looked like. I think people were kind of spazzing, like, the game plan. This is not the game plan that's going to be throughout the season. This is not what that's not our identity. We were clearly working on those things because it's still been an issue. Short yardage, picking up first downs on short yardage, goal line. That's something Ryan Day is going to be hell-bent on trying to correct and improve. And clearly they train him at fullback in that I formation look in the red zone. And I do see that there's something there, and I like that. So pivoting, speaking about train him, I told y'all last year that people were complaining on my page on the internet about why Hayden didn't get more carries against Scum, right? And I kept saying, you're worried about the wrong things. Why didn't Chip not get more carries against Scum? He averaged 6 yards per carry against Scum, and he looked good, and we stopped giving him the ball. Now we're seeing again his capability. Not only is he physical, can run downhill, he can read the blocks, he can bounce it out with speed. I mean, like, the dude is nice with it. So I was very happy to see Chip get off. But I will say this as well. I've heard comments about Trey Henderson. Listen, like I said, I've rewatched this game. I've lost count. I do not personally think that Chip had the same clutter that Trey had to deal with on some of those runs. Like, at least Chip had options to bounce it on some of those plays. The plays where Trey got stoned, I can't think of one play where there wasn't a crimson jersey or whatever Indiana's color is, and basically clogging off every cutback. He didn't have the opportunities that Chip had. Why? I don't know. But to me, I think Trey still played very well considering the poor run blocking that the O-line was doing, and especially in the first half.
Well, yeah, like, I was texting Maurice Claret, and I was like, and I literally sent him some videos from the game, and I was like, look, what would you say to your OC and Tress and your line when, like, the one play Chip got hit literally as he was handed the ball. Like, literally there, it looked like it was like one of the fake read options. Again, I don't even know why we do read option like action, because we never actually pull the ball. So eventually it's like the boy who cried wolf and no one's going to believe it. But there, Chip got hit in the backfield. There's that short side stretch play where we don't come off on the combo, and 44, who it's like I said jokingly, but probably not jokingly, like 44 Casey, the linebacker that's probably the National Defensive Player of the Week. He's probably going to invite our offensive line to his draft party because he just got drafted thanks to those guys. But he was running through that B gap, man, and Donnie was getting held, and his hands were terrible. And Carson, they were like doubling a guy, and in a double team when it's on to off, man, one of you guys has to come off on that linebacker. You got to have eyes on him, and when he goes through that front side gap, Donnie has to come through on that. And again, it's a tough block. It's a 3 technique, working front side, but someone's got to come off on that. You can't just let the linebacker run through the B gap, and he sure as could be dead. And and Trey got the ball, took one step and got smoked. So again, you can't have guys getting hit in the backfield just because of our combination blocks being terrible. And again, if I'm Justin Fry, Mike Solini, I'm Brian Hartline, Ryan Day, Mickey Marotti, anybody, the janitor at the WAC, anybody, I would say, let's do combination blocks for the first 40 minutes of practice. Let's do it during every special teams drill. Let's do it during, you got a 2 hour and 10-minute practice. You got about 20 minutes of individual to start practice. It's all going to be combination blocks, nothing else. Again, that's what we used to do back in the olden days, 2012, back in the land before time. Me and Ed Warner start off every day doing combination blocks with the left and right side. It's like, okay, you take the left guard, left tackle, center. I'll take the right tackle, right guard. Let's run combo blocks all day, every day versus live bodies, live drills, live blocking. And we got good at them because every day I'd start the drill off. I'd tell Corey Lindsley, Andrew Norwell, Marcus Hall, Jack Muhort, Reed Fragel, Taylor Decker, whoever's in there. I say, look, we are going to be the best combination blocking team in America, period. We are going to murder guys. When you have a combination block, you should say, oh boy, this is like an alley-oop. I get to kill somebody today. I get to murder somebody. I get to embarrass their family today. And again, that was our mentality. It's like, hey, when you're a 3 technique and you're backside and this big, we're bringing that wood and we're going to make you look idiotic and the ball's going to roll back and we're going to bunch you yardage. So it's like we had Carlos Hyde. He ran for a ton of yards in 12 and 13 at Braxton, but that was our MO. And we got really good at it. And we weren't, and Donnie's more talented than these guys. And, we got our guys. This line's just as talented as that 12 line. Those guys were a year away. In 13, they took it to a different level. They all got drafted. Norwell didn't get drafted to be highest paid guard in the NFL history when he signed a second deal. Lindsey was the highest paid center when he signed his deal. Jack Muir, second round pick. But in 12, a lot of those guys were newbies. Corey Lindsey had never started a game going into 2012. He was a fourth-year junior, didn't start a game. So everyone thought he sucked. He was a bust. Reed Fragel's a tight end, backup dude. We put him at right tackle. And Marcus Hall never started. Norwell had kind of been a journeyman, started 10 games a year before, all over the place. And Jack was Jack. Jack was really good. But we morphed it into, okay, we're going to be, we're putting the hard hats on, we're going to work. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be pretty. We're not going to have our Louis Vuitton bags. You're going to leave those in the car or throw them in the dumpster. Like this is we're going to work. And again, that's something that, again, like I think the line's got a lot of potential. There's some really good pieces there, but some of these guys flat out just have to be more nasty and they have to finish and they got to play harder and they got to go own guys. Again, like I love boxing and offensive line is a lot like boxing because, man, it's like those blows, those body blows add up early in the game. You might be getting those shorter runs, but by the time a defensive tackle has absorbed his 15th combination block where he's got two guys trying to kill him that weigh 600 pounds, he starts to give a little more and a little more and a little more. And then all of a sudden you just rip off these big runs. And that's what's happened against us against Michigan the last years is that they might stink the first two quarters, but they're wearing our guys out. And then you get to the third, fourth quarter, you see these 60-yard runs get ripped off, 70-yard runs get ripped off. It's because our guys give in. It's too hard, it's too nasty. And I think the big thing with Ryan is that, why are we in 2 tight ends and 3 tight ends and all these kind of funky deals? Because we're getting ready for Michigan. Like that's what we're doing in camp. We're gonna get ready to stop the run because we've been absolutely putrid the last years against the run because we're chuck and duck 5 wide, Texas Tech air raid all season, and then we go up to Ann Arbor and they're running 2 tights and they're running counter and power and gapping down and doubling guys, and our guys aren't ready for it. So I think that's a big emphasis with Ryan as to why we're doing that. We'll wrap this. We're almost 20. Anything final, B. Moses? Again, I know you got a bunch of thoughts. We could have you on again tomorrow if you want, but any other thoughts from this week and heading into Youngstown State? What do you want to see out of our guys as we get into that Youngstown State game?
Again, I want to see assignments, execution, like they're not lost out there from the O-line, dominate, absolutely obliterate Youngstown State and do it cleanly. I want to see more confidence from Kyle McCord in his second start. I want to see Devin Brown get in there and get some meaningful reps. And also, I want to see the defense get a pick and get some more sacks. Youngstown State, I doubt they're going to come out with an option, freaking shotgun triple option look. That clearly didn't work against us. Credit to Nose in that defense. So we should be able to tee off and name our number of sacks, get a pick, something. And the defense, I know we don't have time, but the defense, listen, do not downplay how great the defense was in this opener. My good buddy Dewan, he gave me some stats. He showed me it's been a long, long, long time since this defense has only given up 3 in an opener. I mean, back to 2013, it's about an average of about 20 points given up in the first game, in the opener. So am I saying that we're the steel curtain now off of one game against Indiana? No. But I am saying don't downplay the execution and the defense flying around and how good they performed on the road at Indiana. So I'm looking to see more from them this week executing.
Yeah, I think Jim Knowles is fantastic. I mean, Jim Knowles, they hit that triple option, and you got to get that D-line and that defense over on the grease board and say, hey, okay, here's how we defend it. Okay, this is the read key. Okay, you got to, defensive end, you got to tackle the running back. Okay, Sonny Styles, if you're playing Sam linebacker, you got the quarterback. Okay, alley defender, if it's Josh Proctor, whoever, you've got the pitch guy. So I mean, defending the triple option is absolutely miserable. And Jim Knowles, thanks to a very smart defense, a bunch of guys that were flying around, where they were able to neutralize it. Again, when we played the triple option in 2014 against Navy, they ran for 370. Mm-hmm. And that was a team that we practiced against all month. All month they're getting ready for the triple. Then you got that 10-day window where you get ready for the triple when you break camp. And they ran for 370. And their athletes weren't as good as Indiana, but they shredded us. They made us look terrible. So, again, I thought
there
Jim
in
Knowles,
Baltimore, by the way.
Ooh.
I was there at that game. I remember. Yeah, bro.
Ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of running yards, a lot of doubt. Nobody was picking us to win the Natty after that one. I know that. And then the next week we got Lane Egg versus Vodtech and get whooped at home. So, yeah. Brandon, any final thoughts? We'll wrap this thing as we get into Youngstown State week a little deeper. Any final thoughts to let this thing go with?
Yeah, my final thoughts are, I think it was the homie Josh Pate who said, who had the quote about, what do you say? Fools make, after week 1, fools come to conclusions and wise men make observations. And so basically it's just, listen, y'all act like y'all haven't seen college football before or a season of college football. Like y'all, too many of y'all that are spazzing out, ready to jump off the ledge, act like you have not seen 2014, 2002 season or any other season where we just look like dog crap and like we can't, as if we can't get better. Just wait, just watch, see what happens, see if this team can improve. I think they can. And I'm excited to see how they look against Youngstown State. Even if it's Youngstown State, I still want them to see them play a cleaner game and execute and go from there. It's all about Notre Dame at this point, y'all. Yeah. Get ready for Notre Dame. I don't care. Just beat Notre Dame. All right.
I love that. That's perfect, brother. Well, we will see you tomorrow. Appreciate B. Moses joining us. Follow him. He is the best. Follow on Twitter. Big guy on Buckeye Scoop. Join BuckeyeScoop.com. Again, your best companion for college football season. If you enjoy this content, please click like, click subscribe. Also, click that little alert bell. You'll see when we go live. We appreciate you guys, as always, joining with us, rocking with us, asking us questions. Comment, where are you guys from? Shout out where you guys are watching from. And also comment, what do you want to see out of this Youngstown State game? What do you want to see developed? Do you want to see more Devin Brown? Do you want to see more Brandon Innes? Do you want to see Jaden Ballard play an offensive snap? There's all kinds of things to look for this game. So we appreciate you guys, as always, tuning in. Thank you so much, Buckeye Nation, and thank you, Scoop family. I'm going to talk to you guys tomorrow. Be on BuckeyeScoop.com all night. NFL season kicks off tomorrow. So we are here. We're knee-deep in football season. Let's go. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Go Bucks.